Oh,
You
wait.
can add the, hold on, I'll just add her. What's her name?
Mary,
What's her full name?
Mary Edwards. I don't see Nicole anymore. Well, this is a bummer. I don't want to be standing here the whole day.
Tell her to stop doing what she's doing.
Hey, can I get by?
You gonna help him?
What?
I don't know. Oh, yes.
I already said hi to her.
I know. I'm like, why you
What do you
need
need help
to?
with? I'll help you if you need help with something.
We can't get the people, various people that want to. Fill out.
You guys want anything? You hungry?
In a moment.
Hey, Dad,
Yes.
can you ask whoever Mary Edwards to not do anything?
Oh,
There it is.
it's just pop.
Okay, we got it.
You got it. You got what? Well, it doesn't matter if we can see them, as long as we can hear them talking. Oh, there is an accept. Hello.
Stop what you're doing.
I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Hold on.
Everybody's waiting with bated breath.
It's not working. Why doesn't she just call Mom? The same way.
Everybody else okay?
Every time Mary connects, we get close or call back. It doesn't let us accept the call.
And I know, except old school videos.
It might not accept what videos?
Old school videos.
Oh.
But if she calls Mom on the video thing, you can have the same thing. Or you can also do it through Zoom.
She said that we could just read what she wrote and have fun. Yeah.
She said it needs to be through group chat.
Uh-huh.
Right. What do I have to do?
What does he have to do now? To change
Do I have to make a group chat for her to call to?
have it here. Hey, you exit off of this call. Exit off
Goodbye.
the call. Stay back.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim. Lifesaver.
Feel bad? I think we figured it out. Good.
God.
Bye.
Okay. We're starting. Attention, everybody.
You ready to say something, Nicole?
Yeah, sure, but just so you know, I can't hear anything. I can hear like very little.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Can you hear me now?
Not really.
Oh, I can hear her now. I can
But that's okay.
Can you hear me now, Nicole?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay, the people who will talk.
Faint. Just faint. I
What?
can hear you.
Okay, so the people who will talk will come up to here, and they will talk from here so that they can hear us. Until then, you can talk from there, and we can all hear you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. No, I can't. I can move it a little. No, I can't. I can't. Look up a little. Never mind. It doesn't matter. We got it. We got it. Let us know when you would like to start.
I'll start.
Okay. Nicole will be speaking.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
No, that doesn't work. That does not work. Speak.
Hello?
Speak.
Hi.
Speak.
Hello?
She needs visuals, so she asked something. Okay. They're giving you visual confirmation.
Okay.
Okay. Speak.
All right. So, I've thought about what I was going to say about Grandpa all day and all night. And the best way to describe him from my experience has been his relationship with my mom growing up. You can't really talk about Grandpa without my mother. They were conjoined at the hip, especially when I was growing up. And so when we were in, I believe it was Pittsburgh. It was either Pittsburgh or it was the Kennesaw Apartments. Dad was away on a trip, and because he was always traveling, and they would go out and about. And one of the neighbors, I guess, was like fumigating their apartment and had put all their furniture outside of their apartment. And my mother, not being from this country, was like, "Hey, Ed, can we take that furniture?" they're just like giving it away, right? And my grandpa, being my grandpa, was just like, sure, yeah, you can take it. They don't want it anymore. So my mother and my grandfather basically jacked someone's coffee table right out from under them. And we didn't find out until about a year later when it was my birthday party. And my mom had invited all of the neighbors. And one of the neighbors came by and looked at the coffee table and was like, huh, I used to have one just like this, except it was a different color. My mom had painted it black. It was the same one. And it was hilarious and awkward and one of the funniest things I've probably ever experienced. And that was them. The both of them were always looking for the best deal, shopping, gossiping, and giving me snacks. And I will never forget that growing up. I will also never forget that one of the winters when I was young, I got obsessed with this book called The Great Toboggan Ride. And he read that book every night, even when it wasn't December, for about a year and a half, just because I wanted to listen to it. And that was my grandpa.
Are you ready, Mary?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good, okay. Hi guys, my name is Mary. I had the privilege of caring for Ed as his home health aide for the last year and a half of his life. He was actually my very first client, so he has an extra special place in my heart. I got to know Ed really well, even for only knowing him for a year and a half. He was a very tough shell to crack. He was stubborn as heck in many regards, but he quickly warmed up to me in a really, really special way. Even though he was not an overly expressive guy, I knew he cared for me deeply. Even though that was not his obligation, he did. He liked to offer some unsolicited life advice, but it wasn't to be rude, it was to guide me. He really cared about guiding me and reminding me to watch out for bad people, to stay out of trouble. He just really made sure that I knew he wanted the best for me. In those moments, he took on a very fatherly role, and that meant a lot to me. In our quieter moments, we watched his favorite shows all the time, over and over again. We played games, even when we didn't feel like it. We even built a Lincoln log cabin and a little farm with toy animals that we picked out together off of Amazon. I was very excited about that. It was adorable. Something especially unique about Ed was his fascination with airplanes, stemming from his time in Korea. This airplane in particular was the last one that we played with together. We sat in this room back there and in their house watching the dogs. We threw it across the room together on the last day that he was coherent. So I sensed that day that he was going downhill, and I wanted to make sure we had one last time to play together before he went. So, yeah, I will be cherishing this airplane that they're letting me keep, and his memory for the rest of my life, and may his soul rest in peace with our Lord. Thank you.
That was very nice. Thank you. You know
Thank
that-
you for letting me, Claudia. Love you.
Thank you. I love you. You know I love you so much, right? Yeah. You got a special place in our heart too. Always.
Can you hear me? Okay. I have a prepared talk here. So, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go a little up.
Actually, let me get a microphone here. Alright. We're here as a function of Edgar Pollak's passing to pay homage to his life, but we're also here to share some stories and embrace our living relationships. I'm going to share some stories about Chuck and me, and I'll sprinkle in a reference to Edgar. Chuck and I met in the first grade at Hance Elementary and spent most of the 12 plus years together. During our elementary years, we'd run around the woods behind our house, watching animals and daring each other to do stupid shit. Like jumping up and down on thin ice on a pond. And throwing snowballs at cars and school buses. When we hit the junior high school years, we learned about smoking weed and drinking alcohol that we'd steal from family members and neighbors. We continued to run around the woods. We'd play pinball at the bowling alley with smashed pennies. We'd get high in the trees next to snakes. Remember that? And shoot large caliber firearms at beer bottles. Typical teenage boy stuff. I didn't have that one on. That's a good one. Our high school years were met with different trajectories. But we still connected over a joint and during barrel parties in a field while burning tires directly over an interstate national gas pipeline. Remember when we get on the pipelines and have big bonfires? The pipeline was right underneath us? After we graduated high school, we continued to party together, but on a much larger scale. Here are some memories, Chuck. Just call me Strawberry. Just call me Strawberry. Arrested in North Carolina, rolling my dad's truck over into a ditch. Arrested in Pittsburgh. I need a piece of pizza. And the time we almost got arrested because Bobby stole Jerry's car and ran through a stop sign in front of the Richland cops. I'll conclude with a story about Edgar regarding a piano bench. Once upon a time, Chuck and I went out for a night on the town. Those nights often meant consuming all kinds of mind-altering substances, seeing the sunrise, and very little concern about where we were going or how we would ever get back to where we came from. I have no recollection of what transpired this particular night, but Chuck and I were at a party and got separated.
I said I gotta go, and you said no, you were gonna stay, so I left.
Okay, so your dad remembers something that I don't, which is not uncommon. Somehow, I ended up back at Chuck's family house when the sun was rising.
I wasn't there yet.
I decided to simply walk right into his house, sit down at the piano in the living room, and wait for Chuck to come home. As I'm sitting there, Edgar walks out from his bedroom to the living room, looks at me, and commonly says, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm waiting for Chuck." He replied, "Where's Chuck?" I said, "I don't know." Edgar simply turns around, walks into his kitchen, and started his day. I have no recollection of what happened afterwards, except to say, as the story goes. So your dad is coming up and going to tell what happened after that.
Typical southeastern Pennsylvania child.
Alrighty.
Oh, southwestern, sorry. No, southwestern.
Hello. Hello. So the end of the story is, I evidently went out and found another location that was very good to continue my night, and I did. And I came home at about 6, 7 in the morning, right? And I come home, and I'm like, what happened to Tom? I wonder if he got home okay. I don't know how he got home. And I pull up in my driveway, and out of my door comes Tom and my father. Where were you? I was out having fun. What's Tom doing here? I don't know. Tom, what are you doing here? I'm looking for you. I told you I was leaving way back when. I was coming home. What are you doing in my house? I don't know. That's the end of the story.
That sounds like a good friendship. That sounds like a great
It was a
friendship.
very good friendship. It still is.
That sounds great.
Tell them how we got back together. So 30 years.
All right.
Tom and my best friends through high school. And for 30 years I lost all contact. Couldn't find him. Asking people, where's Tom? Somebody said he was working on his new side.
Can you hear him? Kind of, sort of. Yeah. So, your Chuck wants me to say how him and I reconnected after so many years apart.
We're up to the point that I was looking for you for 30 years, and somebody told me you were working on nukes, and I said, that's
Chuck was actually looking for me.
never be working on nukes.
And the fact is that I had moved to New Mexico. I was working on nuclear weapons. I guess I stopped dropping acid and started working on nukes. You know, simple thing to happen. And, so I'm actually scrolling Facebook and I'm looking for hummingbird pictures. And a hummingbird picture came up on Facebook that Chuck had took. And I recognized the name, Chuck Colder. So I Facebook messengered him and said, if you're the Chuck I used to drink beer with, I'm Tom. If not, forget it. And he replied back, I am that Chuck. And here we are. So, over a hummingbird photo, yeah. All right. I think somebody else is going to come up here and give a talk. Nicole. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, so I've been elected to go now. I tried to put something together to say multiple times, but there's just no way that I can put everything together and talk about my dad. I love them, and I'm very sad that he's gone. I miss him dearly. However, he was a hard person to deal with. I don't remember a word of encouragement. I don't remember a sorry. I don't remember thank you, and I don't remember a hug. I don't remember an I love you. My entire life, up until the end. But he started to go bad, started to have ailments and memory conditions about 30 years ago. And he really had some kind of an ailment, of a psychological problem like psychosis or paranoia. And he would unfortunately blame the people that were closest to him because we were the only people that could have said bad things. But we dealt with that the best we could. And about 4 years ago, I accepted a job in Pennsylvania. My father and I all in our family were living in Georgia, about 30 miles, 40 miles north of Atlanta. We encouraged my father to come live with us in the year 2000. And he resisted, and then he finally came and moved to Atlanta to be near my wife and I and my family. And then he just said, no, I'm not living with you. And we said, well, then get someplace very close to us. And he lived 20 miles away. And then he would come to visit us like almost every day. Come in, sit down for 5 minutes, then say he had to leave because he had to get the mail. That's a true story. We finally figured out he had to go get the mail because that was the way he organized his bills. He wanted the mail, took it out, billed, got down, wrote a check, sent the mail. So he thought if he didn't get the mail and write the check out, that the bill would go. So that's how he organized it. So we dealt with that. We were annoyed, but then he would say, well, he would never come out and say something straight to his face ever in his life. He wouldn't say, hey, can you come over and help me cut my lawn on Saturday? But then, weeks or months later, he would say, boy, you don't even help me. You don't come out and help cut my grass. I said, well, you never asked me to cut my grass. You know, what if I asked? You wouldn't come. Well, if you asked, I might come. So that's what we dealt with for our whole childhood. From the time I opened my eyes until what, 2010 or something like that. Then my father decided the housing, it's 2008 exactly, because the housing market went down. He bought his little house for $80,000 and it had devalued to $50,000. And he got paranoid and he sold his house. He said, Dad, don't sell your house now. Wait till the market comes. Yep. No hearing of it. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. So he sold the house that he bought for $80,000 to $50,000. And he thought he was rich. I said, Dad, how much do you pay a month for an apartment? $1,000. I said, how many months is that going to last you? 50, right? Then he went out and bought a car. So he had $30,000 to last him until he died. He was running out of that money, and my wife and I found an assisted living facility a mile away from our house. And we moved in there, and he was degenerating really quickly. He was calling 911 on himself to take him to the hospital. He was having hallucinations. And he thought we had put him in, it was $750 a month, and not to change the price for the call. And he called the place a shithole. He said, "You guys, my brother and I, you guys put me in this shithole," and we put up with that. So then, like a month after we moved him there, I find a new position in Philadelphia, and I go there and I'm making pretty good money, but when I'm looking for a house, I'm looking for a house that would accommodate my father. The house that we bought was probably a little bit above what we could afford, but we assumed my father would come with us, and the house that we looked at had an entire in-wash, addition to it. So own living, sleeping space, living space, television room, bathroom, full bath, and it was right off of the dining room. So we went to the shithole and we said, "Dad, how would you like to come up and live with us?" Elwood, it's a mile away from the VA Health Center. So all we have to do is get you in the car, take you a mile, and come back. Well, we fought back and forth about that, and my wife and my brother went to talk to him about that. "Hey, Dad, we're going to get you out of that shithole. To do that and to apply for the VA benefits, you need to give somebody power of attorney." And my father took his keys out of his pocket and said, "All right, goddammit, I'll give you power of attorney," and then proceeded to throw the keys and broke the drywall and said, "But if anything doesn't go the way I want it to go, somebody's going to pay." And my wife turned around and said, "No thanks." So we got through all of that stuff. 3 months after we left and came to Philadelphia, my father called me. Well, he's calling every night, but the one day he called me, he was almost in tears. And he was saying, "You have to come back and stay with me, because I can't do this alone." And I said, "Dad, that's why we wanted you to come up with us in the first place." And he's like, "Well," and at the time I didn't understand anything. I still had bitterness from all the years. And I didn't know how to feel. And I was trying to talk to him and tell him that everybody was working for him and trying for his best interest, but he thought we were conspiring to take his money. And I said, "Dad, I just started a new job. I'm trying to, I can't come down and stay with you. I can't come down and stay with you for a week, let alone one." I said something like, "How do you expect me to do that?" He said, "That's what you were born for." So, unfortunately, I got really upset, hung up the phone on him. I was really mad at him. Then we had an intervention call. My brother, myself, Claudia, my sister-in-law, my niece, my nephew, everybody's on the call, and we said, "Okay, you can't stay by yourself anymore. Obviously, you can't deal with it. Nobody can come and stay with you. So what do you want to do? Come and live with us? Or do you want to go down to Florida and find an assisted living place near my brother?" Well, no offense to you, Claudia and Chuck, but I want to go somewhere where it's warm and where there's not so much traffic. Yeah, so and then with that, you don't have to worry about the cold. You're going to be inside most of the time. You're in my house. And no, I'm going down. So he went down to Florida. They put him in an assisted living. My brother. First of all, my brother applied for all of his VA benefits. And he told us that we were scamming. Because it took us 18 months for that stuff to come through. For 18 months, it was a scam. And then when he got the money, it was still a scam, but it was his money. So he went to Florida. 2 weeks at the most, he was in his new assisted living place, and we got a call one morning and said, "Hey, Ed eloped from the assisted living place at 3 o'clock in the morning walked across a 6-lane highway and was pounding on a strip mall business thinking it was JCPenney. Swore he saw people inside of it and they wouldn't open the doors for him. Then he proceeded to try to find, I don't know what he was doing, but he wandered behind the building into the woods, fell down, couldn't get up. And he was screaming until the police came, picked him up and took him back to the assisted living. And the assisted living said, well, that's fine, but your father can't stay here anymore because he's a big liability. And at the same time, he was going through something, and it was serious, so he went to the hospital. And when he was at the hospital, he was almost comatose for a week, well, for 3 weeks. And nobody knew what was wrong with him. Well, yeah, they told us he was not coming back from this coma that he was in. And then one day he woke. I said, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's my father. No, I know him. 2 days later, he woke up like nothing had ever happened. Said, "Where am I?" When my brother had to rush and find another place that would accept him, and no assisted living would accept him because he had screwed up the first one. So he had to go into a memory care, which he was not ready for. So he did that. And after about a week, he started calling, pleading with us to get him out of the memory care. He was beaten up one night at 2 o'clock in the morning he woke up and there was an old lady standing above him, hitting him. So he got up and he started to try to, defend himself. And she picked up a laundry basket that was next to her and started hitting him with the laundry basket until it broke to shreds. And then there was, those laundry baskets with the 1-inch little square. She started whipping him with that until she lacerated his whole floor off. So we got him out there. Eventually, after enough time had passed, we put him in another assisted living. I lost my job in Philadelphia. And the day that I lost my job, I called him up and said, "Dad, how would you like to come up and live with us now?" He said, "Yeah, okay, I'll come up and live." So that was the story, and we felt immense turmoil. We were torn by it. Because was he going to be a violent person not accepting anything? And he was. But he came up and he stayed with us. And working with the VA, God bless the VA, they did more for us than anybody in the world. They gave him everything. And they helped us, figure out what had been ailing him for 30 years. He was having constant urinary tract infections, which sent him into deliriums, which made him psychotic. All the time, for years, I don't know how many years, but he would go off and he would be completely crazy. So we fixed that. The key to that was to have him being washed every day. Every single day. He'll miss a day. He would get a urinary tract infection like that. So we cured him of that, and he got a lot better. But then one day he went into delirium because he had low blood pressure. We sent him to the hospital because his blood pressure was seriously low. If he got up, he would be going to fall down, pass out. So they took him to the hospital and they diagnosed him with congestive heart failure caused by his kidney disease and his urinary tract. So we monitored that and we fixed that. And I am never happier than I am right now. Because of that, because of that decision we made, you are all here. And I was telling Jim before, I had actually 3 dear friends in this world that I could always count on. One of them sitting right there, Tom. Another one is here, and another unfortunately passed away a week after my father did. So I was distraught, and yeah, I don't know. We spent 3 years caring for my father, and the first year and a half were absolute nightmares. But after that, we saw him live for 8 months without a hospital visit, without anything. And he actually enjoyed some of his life, which I'd never seen him do. Never. So he actually was at peace, he enjoyed himself, and I learned so much about myself, and I learned that we are not actually alone, because here's the proof of that. And this is such a wonderful gathering of people that I've known since 1965 up until I've met in 2015, and you all, and some people that I knew but didn't know, until 2 years ago or so. If you're all here, and I can't tell you how much that makes me feel warm inside. We did the best thing. We made my father comfortable for 8 months. Even the people at the VA said, I took him there. So from day one, we took him to the VA. And from day one, the doctor at the VA said, you ought to think about putting him in hospice. No, hospice? No, he's not ready for hospice. Well, he's just going to keep getting worse. I don't think so. He's not ready for hospice. After he died, one of the nurses at the VA called me up and said, Chuck, I just want to say sorry for your loss. And I want to tell you how incredible it was what you did for your father. She said, we see a lot of people come through here, and we see a lot of people, your father needs to be in hospice, and boom, he goes straight to hospice, and 3 weeks later he's dead. She said, you've done something miraculous for your father. I took my father back when we cleared him up for a checkup, and his primary care physician, his psychiatrist, they didn't believe it was him. He was awake, he answered their questions, he told them about the future, he always wanted to have somebody tell him he could have a drink of alcohol, which he thought that I just didn't want to have. So we gave him 8 months of quality life with people that love him, instead of sticking him into a memory care unit or a rehab or something where he was just going to waste away and die. And like I said, I miss him, I love him, and I forgive him, and I forgive myself for the way that we all behaved and acted during the 30, for me it was 64 years. And that's about all. Sorry, I went on and on and on.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to say goodbye.
Love you.
I'm talking in
cable out underneath the stuff. What would they do that for?
dog's chillaxing on the couch right now.
Oh, who's that?
Gandalf and Leo are on the couch. I don't know where Belly is. Maybe she's downstairs, but they're doing great. Thank you for trusting me with them, and thank you so much for letting me join. I know it was a bit of a hassle.
No, thank you.
But
Thank you for
Mary, could you call the dogs?
calling to us.
We have customers who would love to see the dogs.
yeah, Gandalf,